Young Master Williams, I've completed the investigation into the bidding incident, Felix reported with practiced precision. During the event, Drew Corp's designer, Sophia Drew, introduced a masterpiece as her original design. However, Miss Susan interrupted the presentation, claiming it was stolen from her. Ethan's dark eyes narrowed in astonishment. Stolen? President Sawyer demanded proof, Felix continued. Miss Susan stated that the evidence was stored on her laptop, but claimed it had been destroyed. His voice tightened. She accused Jason Adler from ICM Design of sabotaging her files, though she lacked concrete evidence. Ethan's jaw tensed. She publicly clashed with Jason and the company representatives. Felix added grimly. Security dragged her out of the venue. Dragged out? Ethan repeated slowly, his voice edged with lethal calm. Felix nodded, already recognizing the brewing storm of fury in his employer's eyes. Years of service had taught him to read Ethan's subtle shifts, cold rage cloaked in chilling stillness. What design did Drew Corp present? Ethan demanded. I had someone capture a photo. Felix handed over his phone. Ethan's sharp gaze darkened as he studied the image. Recognition hit like ice. Susan's design. The precise detailing, the unique artistic flourishes, everything was exactly as he remembered from her original sketch. His fingers tightened around the phone. No wonder she'd been so cold and distant the night before. Betrayed. Discarded. And I sent her into that trap. He returned the phone silently, his expression unreadable. President Sawyer has done plenty of shady things over the years, Ethan stated coldly. It's time to expose him. Publicly. Felix inclined his head. Understood. If he loses his position, the partnership project between California Culture and Technology Center and Drew Corp. Cancel it. Ethan's voice cut through the air like a blade. Block any company currently negotiating with Drew Corp. Make them reconsider. Felix's eyes gleamed with understanding. And Sophia Drew? Ethan's expression hardened. Provoke her, publicly and personally. Understood. Felix hesitated briefly. If the bidding is reorganized, should Miss Susan Drew be assigned the project again? He lowered his voice. Though, she's no longer with ICM Design. Ethan scoffed. She's talented, but handling such a high-level project requires more than just creativity. His voice turned icy. Forget the project. Focus on Jason. Bring him here. Back at the hospital, when Ethan entered the ward, his eyes immediately locked onto Susan. She was struggling, weakly shifting, attempting to sit up, fragile but still stubborn. The moment her gaze met his, she froze. For a split second, something indecipherable flashed in her expression. Wary, defensive, hopeful. Ethan's face remained unreadable. But deep inside, the storm raged on. What are you trying to do? Ethan's voice was unusually soft, edged with something almost gentle. Susan's eyes brightened, though she quickly masked it. Can you get me a caregiver? I'll pay her. Ethan's brow arched, a faint smirk tugging at his lips. Are you planning to go to the restroom? Her face flushed instantly, heat rushing to her cheeks as she realized he'd seen right through her. Before she could respond, Ethan strode toward her without another word. In one swift motion, he pulled back the blanket and lifted her effortlessly into his arms. Put me down, Susan squealed, instinctively wrapping her arms around his neck. His lips twitched with amusement. Fine. He lowered her abruptly toward the floor, but her legs buckled, unable to support her weakened body. With a startled gasp, she stumbled straight back into his chest, her arms clutching him tightly as if she couldn't resist holding on to him. Her face burned with embarrassment. "Ethan," she whispered through clenched teeth. His dark eyes gleamed with mock amusement. "You're the one who fell into my arms." How infuriating. For the first time, Susan was left speechless by pure irritation. Before she could protest further, Ethan lifted her again without effort and headed toward the restroom. "I told you to just hire a caregiver," she grumbled, defeated. He glanced down, smirking. "Do you think I can conjure one out of thin air?" He set her down gently onto the toilet seat, his movements efficient but still carefully measured. The most humiliating part came next. Her weak fingers trembled, unable to undo her pants, forcing her to accept his silent, steady help. She couldn't even meet his gaze afterward. By the time she was back in bed, Susan felt utterly mortified, her cheeks burning hot. She pulled the blanket over her head, wishing she could disappear. Ethan leaned against the wall, his amused gaze lingering on her. Was this the same shameless woman who'd boldly flirted with him in the past? Now she blushed like a schoolgirl. An hour later, Ethan finally managed to secure a caregiver, a kind-looking woman in her early 40s. After explaining the care instructions, he glanced back at the bed where Susan lay asleep, her breathing soft and steady. His eyes softened, just briefly, before he turned sharply and left. He had legal documents to prepare for a court hearing in the morning, though his mind lingered on her for far longer than he intended. Middle of the night. Susan stirred, groggy and disoriented. Her eyes fluttered open, catching sight of a woman sitting quietly on the edge of the nearby couch. Noticing her movement, the woman smiled gently and rose. "I'm the caregiver. Mr. Williams hired to look after you." Susan blinked, momentarily stunned. "He hired someone?" She murmured softly, her voice barely above a whisper. "Oh." Susan stared at the caregiver in quiet contemplation. She'd asked Ethan to find someone to care for her, and he actually did. For some reason, a faint sting of disappointment twisted inside her. He could have stayed. He was still her husband, at least on paper. He could have been there when she woke up, instead of leaving her behind with a stranger. But she quickly shook off the foolish thought. What was I expecting? Their marriage was nothing but a contract. He'd never cared for her, not in the way she foolishly wished he would. Sending me to the hospital, feeding me, that was more than enough. The caregiver, keenly observant, noticed her quietness and chuckled gently. "Mr. Williams is very concerned about you," she said warmly. "He stayed until 11 o'clock last night." Susan's eyes widened slightly. "He even told me not to fall asleep in case you woke up during the night. And he hired the hospital's head chef to prepare your meals 3 times a day." Susan blinked, feeling as though she were still trapped in some strange dream. Was this really Ethan? The caregiver smiled knowingly. "I've seen all kinds of family members come through this hospital. Mr. Williams, he's hard on the outside, but soft on the inside." Soft. Susan's mind drifted back to the moment Ethan had stormed in and saved her, his eyes blazing with unspoken fury. Despite his sharp words and cold front, there was something different about the way he'd held her. She didn't want to think about it, but couldn't help herself. Morning. When Susan returned from a medical checkup, she froze just inside the ward. Two men stood inside, Ethan and Jason Adler. Jason looked horribly battered, his face bruised and swollen beyond recognition. His eyes widened with panic the moment he spotted her. With a choked sob, he fell to his knees, trembling. "I'm sorry, Miss Drew. Please, forgive me." His voice cracked with desperation. "I was greedy. Sophia paid me $500,000 to steal your design. It was my fault. I'm begging you, please." Susan's entire body trembled. He stole everything. Her design, her career, her dignity, all crushed beneath his selfish greed. Her fists clenched instinctively, though she barely had the strength to stand. Rage burned in her chest like wildfire. "Why should I forgive you?" Her voice was low, but cutting like steel. "Do you even understand what you ruined?" Her words lashed out, fueled by weeks of suppressed agony. "You destroyed my work, my reputation, my entire identity as a designer." Her eyes flashed with cold, unforgiving intensity. "A coward like you doesn't deserve to be called a designer at all." Jason's head snapped downward, trembling uncontrollably. "You're right. I'm not qualified," he whimpered, his voice breaking. "I can't design anymore." Susan stilled. Her furious gaze shifted toward his hands, both of which hung limply at his sides, wrapped in thick bandages. Her breath hitched. "Your hands," she whispered, horror creeping into her tone. Ethan rose slowly from his seat, his dark eyes glinting coldly. He chose to be a thief, not a designer. His voice was calm and merciless. So now, he'll never design again. Jason let out a shuddering sob, crawling helplessly across the floor like a broken animal. Susan couldn't look away, her mind spinning. Jason had always been arrogant, conceited, a man driven by greed and pride. What did Ethan do to him? But sympathy? She felt none. He didn't care about my future when he stole everything. Why should I care about him? Well, you got what you deserve. Hopefully, you'll turn into a better person. All right. I'll certainly not do it again. I'll get out of California and never appear in front of you guys," Jason said with a shudder. "Get lost," Ethan sneered.
Hey amazing viewers, it's Susan here. Thanks for sticking with us. By the time of the release of this video, only 11% of our viewers have joined the party by subscribing, and 89% of you might miss out on our next mind-blowing video. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and join the exclusive club.